Okay, let's talk a little bit about the course itself, course description here. This statement summarizes the whole concept of communication in general. This course will require you to think, organize, and then communicate. Therefore, it is a thinking, organizing, and communicating course. Now, when you think about the process of communicating, we just don't just spout out information. Well, generally, we shouldn't just spout information, but we take a moment or more time to think about what it is we want to share with the individual. So we need to think. And in business communication, critical thinking is of the utmost importance. Critical thinking allows you to provide only the important facts, the correct facts that need to be shared with an individual. The next thing you're going to do is take all of these critical thoughts that you have come about with, and then organize them. Now, organizing them in a way, in a method, in a structure, if you wish, that the individual you are going to communicate with will be able to understand. Now, generally speaking, logic is the logical progression of thought or of information is the best approach. The next thing then is after we organize these thoughts, put them in a logical order, we then communicate. Now, there are many forms of communication. This course will focus on the written communication. Why? Because your written communication from a business point of view is not good. Now, that is not your fault. It is the fault of the education system, which teaches you to be creative, to be critical, thought-provoking type of writers. In business, we don't do that. We get to the point. We are concise to the point. So, more on this as time goes on. So that is kind of the premise: thinking, organizing, and communicating. Again, we're focusing on the written form of communication because, frankly, that's the most difficult, and actually it's the form of communication that has the greatest value in the business world. Now, when we combine all three of these things, we develop successful communication that will serve you well, not only in a corporate environment, but in your class, the remainder of your classes you're having here at UIC, particularly those in the business school. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, again, as I already mentioned, outside of class, you're going to study and assimilate the information that typically is presented in lecture in the classroom. Now, why don't I lecture? Well, frankly, lectures are boring. You find them boring. I find it boring to provide. So let's use the classroom for application. All the information, again, will be found in Blackboard, which has links to the YouTube channels. In class and virtually, again, there are no classroom lectures. As a class, individually and within your teams, you're going to be asked and required to answer questions. Again, this is the Socratic method. As a class, individually and within teams, you will analyze business situations. You will determine what is the situation and the best course of action. You will present understanding, and then you will develop the communication through appropriate business documents. Okay, onward here. Student outcomes. Well, there are a number of student outcomes for this course. First of all, you're going to demonstrate competence in the use of conventional written business communication forms, the use of English mechanics, grammar, style, and format. Therefore, you need to have a very good grasp of the English language to do well in this course. You need to perform satisfactorily on the standard writing evaluation measurements that we're using. We use a companion site, an online site called Criterion, which helps evaluate your writing from a business point of view. You will be developing memos, letters, proposals, and reports. Those are the primary written communiques in the business world. You're going to analyze business communication context, understanding from the point of the audience, the purpose, the situation. You're going to develop the logical flow of information. You're going to demonstrate an ability to apply knowledge of writing strategies. You're going to create written documents that analyze and propose solutions to the business problems. We're going to look at ethics for a little bit. Why is ethics responsibility important in business? A little bit from that point of view. Communicating effectively with diverse audiences. Yes, we are no longer a small clustered USA. We are now a global economy. Therefore, we need to be aware of the various different diverse audiences, primarily from cultural perspectives that are out there. And then you're gonna work with collaborating on communication projects, your team projects. In probably week 3 or so, you will be placed into teams. More on that later on. All right, this ends the part 2 portion of the BA 200 syllabus video, and proceed now on to part 3.